What's good, everybody on YouTube? This is your boy Akil McLeod, and I'm a full-time eBay and Poshmark seller. And in today's video, I want to give you guys 5 reasons why you're not making any sales on Poshmark. So if you guys are interested in these kind of videos, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel for more videos. And without further ado, let's get right into it. So over the past few days, I've really just been focused on Poshmark and really trying to rev up my Poshmark closet and just make more sales, because as of right now, I'm averaging about $1,000 a month, and my goal is to do about $2,000 a month. So that means I really got to rev up my inventory and just get more familiar with the Poshmark app altogether. So over the past couple of days, I've been checking a lot of people's closets. So the first thing that I've noticed that a lot of people are doing wrong is that their photos are just really bad. Now, I'm not trying to be funny or make any jokes, but trust me, when it comes to some of these photos that I'm seeing, it's just really bad. So the number one thing what you want to do when you're taking photos is that you want to use all 8 photos, especially if you're trying to sell a pair of shoes or a bag or just something that has several different angles. You want to make sure that you're taking full advantage of all of the photo opportunities that you have. 2, since it is a square photo with the Poshmark app, when you're taking it with your phone, you definitely want to make sure that the item is completely in that photo. You really just want to have that cover photo really encapsulate exactly what it is that you're trying to sell, and then all the other photos can be different angles and the size tag and things like that. Next thing that I noticed with a lot of Poshmark closets is that your prices are just way too high. Now trust me, I know I told you guys in the past that I like to price my items like 15 to 20% higher, because I know everyone on Poshmark likes to send offers. But trust me, I've been seeing people sell regular plain old t-shirts that's not a designer brand or anything. It's like a Kmart brand, and if they're pricing it more than Kmart is pricing it for, and that just isn't realistic. And I know that everybody's thrift stores isn't going to be as good as some of the other thrift stores, and especially for me, I think my thrift stores are amazing, and I know it's a blessing. But honestly, if the thrift stores in my area wasn't as good, all that would mean is that I would have a lot more inventory, my margins would be a lot slimmer, but at the same time, I'd be shipping out a ton of items because I would just try to price my items way more aggressively in order for them to sell. Because the one thing with Poshmark, what everybody has to remember, and sometimes I forget it as well, the fact that Poshmark charges $6.50 for shipping. So a perfect example of what you don't want to do is price your items too high, and on top of that, the buyer still has to pay for the cost of shipping. So definitely keep that in mind whenever it is that you're trying to sell things online, because I know that shipping fee is really hefty, especially compared to eBay, where first class items usually ship anywhere between like $3 and $4. But at the end of the day, I do think everybody and anybody can flip things on Poshmark. It's just a matter of trying to price your items competitively and pricing it smart, because at the end of the day, everybody wants a good deal. And nowadays, since it's so much competition on Poshmark, you don't want to price your items out of the market and then wonder why your items aren't selling. Now, I'm not sure if a lot of you guys are aware of this, but if you click on the About Me section in Poshmark, it actually shows you your average shipping time. So that data is actually public information. So anybody that's, whether they're shopping with you or they're just checking out your closet, anybody can see your average shipping time. So for me, if I see a seller's average ship time is like 3 days, and on top of that, I have to wait maybe 2 or 3 days for the item to come to me, that might hinder a lot of people from making purchases with you all. So what you definitely want to do, especially if you're a new Poshmark seller, is to get your items out as soon as possible. Whether it's 1 day, the same day, or at most 2 days. Because you don't want buyers waiting too long to receive their item and just feeling overall buyer's remorse because it took too long for them to get it. Because trust me, I've tried to make several purchases on Poshmark, and I've even had to cancel an order today because it took more than 7 days for the person to ship the item out. And for me, 7 days is just ridiculous. So definitely keep that in mind if you want to be a good Poshmark seller. Another thing that I noticed is that a lot of people aren't utilizing the description box. Now, the good thing about the description box in Poshmark is the fact that you can use that to really put any extra keywords, the sizing information, any measurements, you know, just any extra details that the buyer might need. And I'm not saying everybody has to take measurements, because that's more of an eBay thing. But if the item is more vintage or it's kind of unique, I would suggest you guys put the measurements in just to avoid any questions. Another thing that's public information on Poshmark as well is your amount of community shares. Now, the community shares is important, especially if you want to be a Poshmark ambassador. And I think you need to do at least 5,000 community shares, which means sharing other people's closet in order to be a Poshmark ambassador. But for me, I always say that it's way more important to share your own closet than it is to share other people's closet. So once you hit that milestone of 5,000 community shares, you can do just what I did, and I basically just stopped sharing other people's closet from that point on. Because like I said, you can drive way more traffic to your own closet by sharing your own items than sharing other people's closet. And trust me, I know the good karma thing about Poshmark, you share mine, I share yours. I know that's a thing, but if you really want to drive more sales, really focus on sharing your own closet. Now, last but certainly not least, and this is one thing that I noticed over the past couple of days, because like I said, I've even been trying to buy a few things, and people are just not responding to offers fast enough. Now, I know we're not supposed to be bound to our phone 24 hours a day, but if I send an offer at 9 a.m. and it's 5 p.m. and you still didn't respond to my offer, whether the offer is too low in your opinion and you want to counter or decline, go ahead and do that. But when it comes to just completely ignoring an offer, that's really just not good for business, because like I said, when it comes to negotiations, I'm a terrible negotiator. I usually take things personal when I get a lowball offer, because that type of stuff just pisses me off. But definitely either decline or counter as soon as possible, because one thing what you don't want is to have that buyer waiting too long and the buyer's remorse starts settling in, and then they either just want to cancel the offer and you missed out on the sale completely, or if you just wasn't interested in the sale, you know, you can just go ahead and decline it because it was a lowball offer. At the end of the day, the option is yours, but I do think by at least responding to the offer, you can either, you know, negotiate and seal a deal, or just get rid of the trolls and just decline them. Now, before we get out of here, I got another tip for you guys, and this is really just based on me checking out numerous closets over the past couple of days. Now, I know this is going to be controversial, because in my area, the thrift stores are really great and the quality is good, and for the most part, the prices are pretty fair, but I know that isn't the case for all across the country. But one thing that you guys definitely got to consider is that, you know, especially when you're selling clothing, you don't want to sell stuff that isn't dope, that isn't desirable. People on Poshmark, you got to think that that audience is definitely more of a trendy audience, and for the most part, you don't want to be selling things that's from like a Walmart button-up shirt and trying to price it just as expensive as Walmart or more expensive than Walmart. If you're going to sell those type of lower end brands that people can get anywhere, price it competitively. Price it in a way where it's attractive to that person and they feel like they're actually getting a deal. Because trust me, I've been seeing a lot of people selling things that are very low end, and it's used items that they're pricing even higher than items that are brand new with the tags that's in the store today. So definitely be more strategic with your sourcing, and even if your thrift stores don't sell a lot of quality items and you're forced to pick up a lot of lower end brands and a lot of mall brands, you can still go ahead and do that and make a really good profit on Poshmark and eBay and things like that. But at the end of the day, you want to price your items more competitively, and if you can, really just try to sell things that actually do look good, and you're not just trying to sell it because you've heard other people making money on Poshmark, so you're just trying to do the same thing. So that's all I have for today's video. So if you guys enjoyed that one, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel for more videos. And if you guys got any comments, any questions, if you agree, disagree, drop that in the comment section and we could keep that conversation going. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.